Hi, and welcome to Newswatch at 6. I'm Cassie Simmons. First, let's send it over to our meteorologist, Matt Bullock, with a first look at your forecast. How does it look, Matt?
Well, it's looking very chilly compared to, it's the second day of summer and temperatures are in the mid to upper 60s, even low 70s. It feels like fall compared to summer, unfortunately. If we take a look at our Doppler radar, we're seeing a few little isolated showers down in Greenbrier County and also from Mercer County. Other than that, we're seeing mostly cloudy skies, and for your evening forecast, I think we'll be on the drier side, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 60s, but stay tuned upcoming full forecast. We do have more thunderstorms returning.
Thank you for that, Matt. Now, mine safety regulators say a West Virginia mining death from earlier this year occurred due to a lack of communication. Adam DeBoer died in March at a Greenbrier County mine owned by South Fork Coal Company. Regulators say the mine operator didn't identify the place where he was standing as an area to be avoided. The U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration also says the operator didn't train miners to avoid those areas. An investigative report does say the operator has implemented corrective actions, including an 8-hour training class for miners. It says the area where DeBoer died is now brightly painted and marked with warning signs. Health officials say the number of HIV cases in Cobble County has risen to a total of 53. The total increased by 4 cases in the past 4 weeks and 9 cases in the past 9 weeks. The cluster has spread primarily among drug users. Cobble County is the only HIV cluster in West Virginia. A cluster means the disease is being confined to a certain population where it may be controlled with minimal public risk. A shooting in Michigan kills 1 and injures 5, including a toddler. Take a look.
The adult male is shot multiple times. He's in critical condition, and the child's in serious condition, so he should be okay, but he has a serious injury.
This is the scene at Whitcomb and Orange Lawn, not far from Greenfield and Plymouth. You can see police are here investigating what happened at the house with the large ramp. Family members say a senseless argument between 2 men led to this shooting. One of the men, a dad with his 4-year-old son. That little boy got caught in the middle of the fight. Relatives are angry and worried for their loved ones. Police say it's hard to respond to yet another shooting involving a child.
It's always difficult when it's a child because, the child cannot defend himself. He has no way of, being even involved in why this is happening, and he's just a victim. It's very sad anytime we have to report a child being shot.
Police are still searching for the suspect. The shooting is still under investigation. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announces his plan to deploy 1,000 additional National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border amid what's being called a crisis. During a Friday press conference, Abbott talked about the influx of illegal immigration into the U.S. He says that the number of immigrants who have crossed into Texas illegally this year would add up to the population of one of the large Texas cities. Abbott went on to say that the addition of troops will add more security to the border.
This surge, left unchecked, increases the risk of potentially dangerous individuals as well as gang members crossing the border, and increases the risk of drugs and illegal contraband being brought into Texas.
Abbott says the U.S. federal government will pay for the deployment. The Food and Craft Beverage Festival is happening now at the Beckley-Raleigh County Convention Center. The festival started at 11 a.m. this morning. The cost for those who want to sample craft beer and wine is $30, and non-drinkers can get in for just $5. The festival is designed to celebrate food and beverages of the state, but it brings in craft vendors and live music as well. This is the first annual Food and Craft Beverage Festival and the very first event put on by the Convention Center itself.
The Convention Center has never hosted our own event before. We've always just rented the space and let someone else have an event here. So this is the first time we've ever just decided to bite the bullet and do it all by ourselves. So we're super excited about that.
The Food and Craft Beverage Festival is happening until 8 p.m. tonight at the Beckley-Raleigh County Convention Center. In April, volunteers from West Virginia cleaned up almost 300 tons of litter across the state. Now, the Piney Creek Watershed Association wants to keep the cleanup momentum going. Newswatch reporter Anna Saunders was with the group today as they cleaned up litter along the Staniford Mine Road in Beckley.
We're trying to clean up this area to keep this trash out of the stream.
When Katie Stanley signed up for AmeriCorps, she could have ended up anywhere in the country, but she wanted to be in her hometown of Beckley, working with the Piney Creek Watershed Association.
I think it's really important to clean up the community and the community I grew up in and kind of for my parents too and my family.
The PCWA is an environmental conservation group in Raleigh County that aims to clean up and protect the area's waterways.
It's just a shame that with West Virginia having such a wonderful, beautiful landscape that we have to deal with issues like this with litter and especially these open dump sites.
The open dump site the group was cleaning up on Saturday is located on Stanford Mine Road, right next to Cranberry Creek. According to members of the group, this project was much bigger than anticipated, so it will take more equipment and much more than a day to complete. In April, PCWA made big contributions to the nearly 300 tons of litter picked up statewide.
One, it's sad that there's so much litter out there. Two, it's great that so many people got involved in trying to help clean up the state. Piney Creek Watershed Association actually had what was going on during the month of April. We called it a marathon cleanup. We actually cleaned up over 26 miles of roadway.
PCWA is a volunteer organization, and the young people involved, like Stanley, hope to see more people their age come out to help.
You don't see younger people volunteering as much as the older people that care about the community, and that's why you raise awareness and do outreach and try to get people to come out here and see the trash.
Reporting for you in Beckley, I'm Anna Saunders, Newswatch.
The Piney Creek Watershed Association has monthly cleanups. You can follow their Facebook page for more details. A new farm opened up on the grounds of the old Whitlock Farm in Fayetteville, and there was an open house event today to celebrate. New Roots is a new community farm just outside of downtown Fayetteville, and it sits on what the community knows as the old Whitlock Farm. The land was purchased by the Fayette County Farmland Protection Board in 2016, and with the help of the Fayette County Resource Coordinator's Office and the Fayette County Urban Renewal Authority, it is now operating as a community farm. Today there was an open house and ribbon cutting at the farm where the community could come see the land they are invited to engage with in the future.
We want people to come out and figure out how they can utilize the farm to educate themselves on gardening, production practices, learning about how to utilize local food products, and just have a gathering space. Then we also really want to focus on some technical training and support for local farms and small farmers.
The New Roots Farm is now open, but it is just in its beginning stages. The overarching plan for the property includes an orchard and wildlife habitats. Still to come on Newswatch at 6, a Texas woman is arrested for a hit and run that put an 8-year-old in the hospital. And Fayette County dog owners got a deal on microchipping their furry friends. Find out more coming up next. But first, meteorologist Matt Bullock will have a full look at your forecast when we return. Welcome back to Newswatch. Well, Matt, tell us a little bit about the weather we should be expecting.
It's not feeling like summer. It's the second day of summer, and it feels like fall. I mean, we're reaching our highs in the upper 60s, low 70s.
Right.
It's not feeling pretty good out. I mean, it's June 22nd.
And I have my heat on.
Yeah, it feels very cool. Let's take a live look right now. This is US 19 at the New River Gorge Bridge in Fayetteville. As you can look in the background, it looks very gloomy outside. We're seeing mostly cloudy skies, but temperatures are on the cool side. We are in the 60s, upper 60s in some areas, but off to our southwest, we are warmer, 71 degrees in Pineville, 73 in Richland, 64 degrees here in Beckley and Athens. So temperatures are feeling a little bit on the cool side. As we take a look at Doppler radar, we are tracking a little bit of isolated showers, especially western parts of Greenbrier County, down in Mercer County near Princeton, also into Bluefield. The good news is, as we get to later in the evening, we'll see most of the isolated showers stay more down to our south. Once we get around late tonight, probably about 11 o'clock tonight, I think we'll probably see partly cloudy skies. It's going to be very comfortable tonight, maybe a great night for a bonfire, as we're going to be more on the dry side. As we get through tomorrow morning, we'll probably be dry in the morning. We'll see partly cloudy skies, but as we get through tomorrow, there's a chance we could see isolated showers. Temperatures be much warmer in the upper 70s, maybe low 80s, especially into the coal fields. So what is going on? Well, we have a high pressure system off to our north. What this is doing, it's bringing northwest winds, actually northeast winds into our area. So much cooler temperatures. But as we look off to our west, we do have a warm front that's bringing some instability showers, especially for our area for today. Lots of cloud coverage. And this is a very slow moving warm front. We call this a quasi-stationary front, which means basically a front that's very slow moving and really doesn't move at all. Now, as we get through into Sunday, we could see a little bit of isolated showers because of this warm front. This high stays off to our northeast. Temperatures will be a little warmer as the winds start to shift out of the south, so much warmer temperatures back into almost summer-like temperatures. But as we get through Monday, well, this low pressure system makes its way towards the east associated with the cold front. This is going to bring some scattered showers mainly Monday afternoon into Tuesday morning. But once we get to Tuesday afternoon, we have drier weather ahead. And take a look at the 2-week precipitation outlook. We are much drier the next 2 weeks. Now we're going to see 30% drier conditions. I'm a fan of that. We already seen enough rain compared to last week where we saw, 5-6 straight days of rain. And I know we're tired of all the cool weather. Well, we're getting warmer weather on the way too. We're going to see temperatures about 50% warmer than average. So that means we're going to see our highs in the low 80s. It's going to feel like summertime. Great day to take your kids to the pools for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for next week. And tonight's forecast, again, it's going to be comfortable, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures are in the low 60s. Winds will be very calm. They'll start to shift out of the south. Tomorrow, much warmer, but there's a chance for pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Winds will be out from the west. If you take a look at your extended forecast, we'll have 3 days of rain, but as we get through Tuesday afternoon, we'll start to dry out. And check this out. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the low 80s. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. Again, we're staying very warm and dry, and as we get through next weekend, it's going to be very beautiful.
Well, I'm looking forward to those sunny days then, Matt.
Oh, yeah. Go to Summersville Lake, take the kids to the park. It's going to be a nice weekend next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, me too. Well, moving on to news for today. Today at Tractor Supply in Oak Hill, the New River Humane Society hosted a microchipping event in the parking lot. Dog or cat owners could come and have a microchip inserted into their animal's skin through an injection. It's mainly used in cases when a pet is lost, when the microchip contains contact info of the owners that will pop up once the animal is scanned.
When scanned by a scanner, and all animal control agencies are equipped with those scanners, vet clinics are, other SPCAs are, when we scan those dogs, a number will come up. There's a national registry. We can put in that number and it tracks back to the animal's owner information. So this is just a form of identification that never leaves your animal's body, so it's a great way to reunite them.
The event took place from 12 to 6 today, and the cost for the insertion of the microchip and the lifetime registration was only $25. The New River Humane Society said that it hopes to continue having events like this in the future. With school being out, it might be a lot easier for kids to get a hold of things they shouldn't. Luckily, you can prevent an accidental poisoning by doing things like keeping cleaning supplies out of reach of another. And another great tip is to be especially careful with chemicals that look like something they're not. For example, lighter fluid can look a lot like apple juice. You can find more tips and information at wvpoisoncenter.org. Still to come on Newswatch, Nashville officials are pushing to ban scooters from the streets. Find out why after the break. A Texas woman is charged after a hit and run left an 8-year-old in critical condition. Deputies say the girl was hit so hard she flew 20 feet, as you can see from the damage on left on the windshield. More details from reporter Jessica Willey.
Ms. Smith, do you have kids? After the questions and cameras in her face, Angela Smith was close to tears. Now charged in the hit and run that critically injured an 8-year-old girl. Fort Bend County Sheriff Troy Nail says during her interview with investigators, Smith had little emotion.
She has not asked about the status of the person that she struck. Very little sympathy and, quite honestly, very little remorse.
As first responders were tending to the little girl captured in this heart-wrenching photo, investigators say Smith was already onto the next crash. 12 minutes later, rear-ending another vehicle whose driver took this picture. It helped deputies identify Smith. They say her family led them to her and her car. ABC 13 was there in Southeast Houston when they took her in. They say she eventually told them why she left.
The reason she left the scene, she didn't stop, is because she was scared and she had a suspended driver's license. But she knew she hit somebody.
And how couldn't she? The driver's side window was shattered. Investigators say the child flew 20 feet on impact. She was crossing Bissonnet at Hodges Bend at the crosswalk with her brother and sister. Deputies say Smith ran the stop sign and hit the little girl. Smith is now charged with failure to stop and render aid, a charge that could be upgraded. Her bond, $40,000. Her now deleted social media accounts show her with children. In Fort Bend County, Jessica Willey, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
And now for an update on a foiled plot to bomb a Pennsylvania church. 20-year-old Mustafa Alawimer came up with plans to attack the church on his own and created checklists for supplies that he would need. Alawimer planned to carry out his plan sometime in July. He first made contact with an undercover agent back in March. Alawimer appeared for his preliminary and detention hearings on Friday.
Today, Mr. Alawimer appeared in federal court. A federal judge ordered him to remain in custody without bail pending trial, and the judge also found there's sufficient evidence for the charge to be held over for trial.
Evidence played in court included a video of the 21-year-old pledging his allegiance to ISIS. Scooters might be coming off the streets of Nashville as the mayor calls to ban them, and legislation is moving forward through Metro Council. This comes after one man was killed while riding a scooter. The law has to go through 3 readings at Metro Council and pass with a vote afterwards. The first reading has already passed, and before the proceedings began, the mayor gave scooter companies 30 days to come up with a solution for the situation in Nashville.
I wanted to give the businesses a chance to present something that could work for the city. Although they made some progress, they just didn't get quite far enough for me, and I think it's the right thing to do is to go ahead and get them off the streets right now.
Multiple scooter companies say safety is their top priority, and they hope to work with the city to make scooters work for Nashville. If everything moves forward without any bumps in the road, Nashville could be scooter-free after July 16th. Nolan Knight is on deck now with sports, and the West Virginia Miners are in action again tonight. That game preview is next.
Welcome back to Newswatch, everyone. I'm Nolan Knight, and another beautiful Saturday in West Virginia means that the West Virginia Miners are in action again. The Miners will be back at Linda K. Appling Stadium tonight for their 3rd game of their series with the Danville Dans, and so far it's been a pretty good series for them. The Miners won Game 1 of their series on Thursday night to take a 1-0 lead, but last night the Dans evened things up as they were able to win 6-4. It's been a rough season for West Virginia as well. The Miners are 5-15 and sit at last place in the East, while the Dans, they have the best record in the league with a 12-5 posting. First pitch for that one is set for 6:35. But the Miners, they aren't the only baseball team in the area that will be in action tonight. The first weekend of the Appalachian League is here, and both the Princeton Rays and the Bluefield Blue Jays will be in action tonight. The Rays, they'll be at home for their 2nd game of the year against the Burlington Royals. Last night, the Rays gave the home fans something to cheer about as they got their first home win of the year on opening night. Bluefield, on the other hand, they're up in Pulaski, or rather down in Pulaski, again in front of what is expected to be a sellout crowd at Cathy Park. And the NBA draft took place this week, and as it is every year, it was an exciting night on Thursday night. And Virginia Tech fans, they were pleased with it as well as they had their first player drafted in the first round since Del Curry went back in 1986. Yes, as the father of Steph Curry. It was NICKEIL Alexander-Walker who was selected 17th overall by the Nets and will be going to the Pelicans, but he was hardly the headline. It was, of course, the most hyped player since the King, LeBron James, Zion Williamson, who went first overall to the Pelicans, who had 3 first-round picks, but his teammate R.J. Barrett didn't go far behind. He went 3rd overall to the Knicks. Free agency should be exciting this summer. One player didn't hear his name called, and that was West Virginia forward Sagaba Konate. But although Konate did not hear his name called, he will still have a shot at the NBA this summer. The Toronto Raptors signed the forward to the NBA Summer League team, and if you aren't familiar with the league, it's a developmental league for the NBA rookies to show their stuff and prove that they deserve to be on an NBA roster. It's probably not the dream that Konate has dreamt of throughout his life, but his journey isn't over just yet. Meanwhile, NASCAR, they'll be back in action tomorrow afternoon after taking last week off for Father's Day. The last time the series was in action was at the Firekeepers Casino 400, and it was Joey Logano who took home the checkered flag. But tomorrow, they'll be at Sonoma for the road course, which in my opinion is always a fun race to watch. It'll be the Toyota Save Mart 350, and the green flag will wave at 3 p.m. Meanwhile, currently the third round of the Travelers Cup is taking place up in Cromwell, Connecticut, and there are some really low scores in this tournament. Leading the way is Chaz Reavy, who finished the day 5 under par and has a 3-stroke lead on the field at 13 under. Keegan Bragley, he's in second at 10 under par, and Tommy Fleetwood not too far behind them, tied for third, sitting at 9 under. That final round tomorrow. And finally, the U.S. men's national team, they'll be in action tonight in the Gold Cup, taking on Trinidad and Tobago. That match is set for 8 o'clock as the U.S. try to clinch a spot in the knockout stages. It's a chance for a redemption as well for the U.S., who were knocked out of the World Cup qualifying, if you remember, by this same team. They were unable to defeat them a few years ago. The U.S., they're coming off of a 4-0 win, and it would be a spot in the quarterfinals if they managed to get the 3 points. Trinidad and Tobago, they lost 2-0 to Panama their last time out. Well, that'll do it for sports. Stay tuned. A final look at your forecast. The Newswatch returns.
We'll take a look at your extended forecast. We are warming back up. Say goodbye to the cool temperatures. Tomorrow, we're going to be back in the upper 70s, maybe low 80s for the cold field. Slight chance for isolated showers. Monday, a cold front's coming in, bringing some scattered showers, especially into Tuesday morning. Then we start to dry out. We're going to see lots of sunshine, and temperatures will stay warm in the low 80s.
Now before we go, take a look at these interesting pooches. Last night, Petaluma, California held their annual Ugly Dog Contest, and more than a dozen dogs participated to take home $1,500 at the end of the night. A dreadlock dog named Scamp won the title. Scamp's owner says he may be ugly, but he wins people over with his personality. That's all the time we have for Newswatch at 6. Although I did love seeing those dogs, they were adorable.
They really were.
World News is next, and we're back at 11 o'clock. See you then.